Hello, this is CardboardGeek. Welcome to one of my cheap and cheerful unboxings. In this case, the subject is Merv, the Heart of the Silk Road. And it's designed by Fabio Lopiano. It's distributed by Osprey Games. And it's by Ian O'Toole. This is a game for 1 to 4 people. It can be played solo. It has rules for that. It also has specific rules for a 2-player version, which uses a ghost third player. I have played this at 2 and 3 player levels. I've been lucky enough to do so, and personally, I like how it plays at 3 better, but it plays really well at 2. I have yet to play solo. I'm hoping to do that later. I have basically played a version of this game before. I haven't opened this box as of yet, so I'll just be going through what's in it. Okay, so let's unbox it. You see, it's got this lovely colour scheme on it. Merv was a city ruled by many different cultures between the 6th and the 13th century. Eventually, the Mongols invaded. There's a bit of a tight box here, so give me a second. Oh, there we go. That's not a bad thing, a tight box, so there we go, sorry. Anyway, yes, the 6th and the 13th century, the Mongols eventually invaded in 1221, I think it was, and basically killed about 700,000 inhabitants and wiped out the water supply. So it never recovered. But it was the centre of trade at the time, one of the biggest cities in the world, if not the biggest. I think I just recall it had about 1 million people. There is actually a story on here. I haven't memorised all of it, but it's a nice little story. It's got some nice little culture in it, some nice little artwork by Ian O'Toole, and some good actual how to do graphics, so you don't tend to get lost with them. And it has a lovely and gorgeous board. I mean, look at this. Look at the work on that scoreboard. There you go. Look at that. That is lovely. Very evocative of the time and place. I mean, if I just open this up, try not to damage the board, obviously. Wouldn't be a good idea. And I love that they have actually taken... Sorry about that, just banging the camera. They've taken the time to even just decorate this bit here. This is all going to get covered over when you play. Camel Market goes here, and the town is randomised around here, and they're all very nicely done, and you go round the outside, just like the scoreboard does around the outside. And you've got your little areas, which is very typical of this kind of game, where everything works together. You basically get 12 turns in this game to do what you can to get a high score. The problem being that you can't do everything. So you've got to work out whether you're going for favour, which is down here, prestige up the top, or which helps you with your trading over in the marketplace and the caravansary, which goes down the side. And where do you put your workers? Do you send your soldiers to guard other people's property, so thereby increasing your influence? All these, it works nicely. It's nice to see a game that actually encourages you to be nice to your fellow man whilst you're trying to win, because then it becomes this lovely, delicate balance of whether you do that or whether you leave them to hang and get screwed over by the Mongols and lose their properties. But, you know, you can do more if you have more influence. So there we go. And we have some very nice counters. Iconography on this is pretty good, even though I jokingly say this is printer paper, which obviously didn't exist at the time. But every one of the tiles is very nicely laid out in quarters of what they do. Buildings go there when you put them down. That tells you what area of the board to refer to for what you can do if you want to do that. That's where to put your soldier if you put one down. That's what you get for a reward if you activate it. And then you can cover these up with bonuses, which are these little things here. And there's one that covers everything right there, which is nice. Little scrolls, you can go to the library. There you go. And that's nice. And then, of course, you can't have a game without pieces. And what's particularly nice about this is that Osprey have gone out of the way to supply you a lot of bags. More bags than you actually need, which is nice because I know there's more bags than you actually need from someone else's copy. But I've got games that don't supply bags, so some of those can go to help them once out. And we have very nice quality cards. I don't have to open these, I'm not going to. because basically it's going to be fiddly and I want to try and keep this fairly short. So, nice designs on the back. The quality of the cards is pretty good. I'm assuming these are solo cards. Haven't touched the solo game yet, but they look pretty much standard for that. And then we've got all these lovely wooden bits and pieces in here. You've got your meeples, you got your gates for the walls, you got your walls for the walls, and you got all your counters, all standard fair wooden pieces, all except for, if I can find them. Oops, so I keep banging the camera. The problem with the cheap and cheerful. Right, and then you get these. And these are a nice little surprise. See me here. There we go. I'm going to sort that out. Alright, little camels. And the camels are quite useful because these manipulate little bits in the game. Having these really helps. They can manipulate when you go first, but you have to give them to other people if you do that, technically. They can help you get them from the caravansary if you take earlier cards, things like that. And they will help you reach further areas on things. So all very useful. There's quite a few ways of getting them. But they're nice because these are the only real standout wooden pieces. Because everything else is pretty much a standard wooden shape. Whereas these are quite clearly little dromedaries, I think. Yes, I believe dromedaries have 2 humps. Which is nice because that again evokes where you are. And, you know, it's your standard bits and pieces, and it's got a shallow tray, which normally I'd complain about. But given this game, it actually does let you store things better. I know a few people, you get... I'd rather this than a dodgy insert, let's put it bluntly. Because, let's face it, we've all known games with questionable inserts, and you end up throwing out half the box because it's easy just putting everything in the box itself. So anyway, with that said, that's Merv. It's a nice game. I'm actually going to recommend it as a game as well. I don't normally do that on these. It's just a nice, relaxing game. It doesn't outstay its welcome. If you like your resource management trading, you've got to work out what you're going to do to try and be a bit efficient. It's good for that. So anyway, this is CardboardGeek. I'm going to be signing out. If you like this, like, subscribe, whatever else you do in that case. And hopefully I'll see you again sometime soon with another game. Bye.